for today, Tuesday, 25th September 2018. In our lead stories, nationally, man shot and killed in Shadwell, murder number 23, and ICT week of activities taking place here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Regionally, a new state of emergency declared in Jamaica, this time in parts of the capital. Internationally, Iran's sowing chaos, death, destruction, says U.S. President. And in sports, Manchester United revenues hit record of £590 million. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be plagued by criminal activity to gun violence. Officers of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, St. Kitts Division, are investigating a shooting incident that took place in Shadwell, St. Kitts. The incident is reported to have occurred in the afternoon hours of today, Tuesday, 25th September 2018. Reports are that one man whose identity is not yet known was fatally wounded in the incident. This brings the murder toll for the Federation thus far for 2018 to 23. The VON Newsline will bring to you more information on this story as it unfolds. This comes 2 days after the shooting of 25-year-old Glenford Percival of New Road Housing Project, who received gunshot injuries to his leg. Reports are that his assailants are said to have been transported in a dark-colored, heavily tinted vehicle at the time of the incident. Percival was transported to the JNF hospital and is reported to be in a stable condition and is receiving treatment for his injuries. ICT Week is being observed here in St. Kitts and Nevis. This week began on September 23rd and will feature a number of activities, including the 17th Caribbean Ministerial Seminar, which is expected to see regional ministers discussing the way forward while seeking to craft policies for the sector. General Secretary of CTU, Bernadette Lewis, explained that ICT Week is an initiative designed to raise awareness of the transformative power of information and communication technology. Activities get underway this evening with the opening ceremony at the St. Kitts Marriott before the 17th Ministerial Seminar gets underway on Wednesday morning. Discussions will continue on Thursday, September 27th, 2018, before several training workshops round out the week on Friday. The Caribbean Telecommunications Union has 20 member countries that are represented on the body. St. Kitts and Nevis is part of that regional body. The police department on St. Kitts is moving to relocate vendors now plying their trade along the pavements in Barstair. Police Inspector Carl Keynes said that authorities recently met with vendors and that the next step would be to have the vendors relocated to a designated area. Vendors are warned to immediately desist from doing business in prohibited areas or face a fine of up to $1,000 or imprisonment for a period not exceeding 3 months. In August, police on Nevis enforced a long-standing law prohibiting roadside vending in Charlestown. Superintendent of Police Lyndon David, Nevis Division, said that the police took that course of action after mounting concerns for the safety of the public and vehicle owners. Human resource personnel from St. Kitts and Nevis will join their counterparts from 15 other Caribbean countries for a one-day engagement with the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC. The Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, will host a one-day engagement with employers from across the region on Friday, 29th September at its headquarters in Barbados. The September 29th engagement is aimed at providing employers with accurate and up-to-date information to assist them in making more informed decisions when recruiting persons with CXC qualifications. During the meeting, CXC will make several presentations on topics including making CXC qualifications work for you, understanding CXC suite of qualifications, digital authentication, SBA cultivating workforce skills, and opportunities for collaboration. The employers will also have an opportunity to present their views and ideas to CXC during an employer talkback session. A release from the Caribbean Examinations Council states that employers are one of the largest users of CXC qualifications, and it is important that they fully understand the nuances of each CXC qualification and how to leverage those to their advantage. A soil fertility analysis and pesticides residue detection lab has been established here in St. Kitts and Nevis. This is part of a vegetable, fruit, and upland crop quality and safety improvement project. The facility is a partnership between the governments of the Republic of China, Taiwan, and St. Kitts and Nevis, and comes as the Federation observes Pesticide Awareness Week. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, says this is one of the significant steps that has been taken to address food safety with respect to pesticide contamination.
As a result of that lab, our soils are tested, the food is tested, and farmers, once they pass the pesticide residue test, receive a license that can be shown to their customers, certifying that their produce are safe for consumption by humans. They also receive safety labels that can be placed either on the packaging or on the product itself.
The importation and distribution of pesticides is regulated by the established Pesticide Board, which evaluates and issues the necessary licenses. In police news, Leroy Walters of Birdrock, St. Kitts, was arrested, formally charged, and cautioned for the offense of driving without insurance. Bail was granted in the sum of $5,000 for his appearance at the Barstow Magistrate Court. Lancelot Neal, who resides at Hamilton Nevis, was arrested, formally charged, and cautioned for the offense of driving without insurance and driving without a valid and unexpired driver's license. Bail was granted in the sum of $5,000 for his appearance at the Barstow Magistrate Court on October 4, 2018. Trevor Mason of Sadler's Village was arrested, formally charged, and cautioned for the offense of driving without insurance. Bail was granted in the sum of $5,000 for his appearance at the Barstow Magistrate Court on September 24, 2018. Winston Zabersprouse of Rosemary Lane, McKnight, was arrested, formally charged, and cautioned for the offense of posting placards without consent. The offenses were committed on Tuesday morning, September 4th, in Barstow. Bail was granted in the sum of $10,000. These reports were recorded by the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force for the period September 4th to the 14th, 2018. Nevis's Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley, welcomed a batch of new civil servants and called on them to do the best they can and to maintain professionalism as they serve the people of Nevis. While addressing the group at a recent one-day orientation seminar hosted by the Ministry of Human Resources and Nevis at the St. Paul's Anglican Church Hall in Charlestown, he was quoted as saying, "I encourage each and every one of you to do the very best that you can and to maintain the tenets of professionalism, the way we are dressed, the punctuality, the way you converse and interact with members of the public and with your colleagues and those above." Premier Brantley urged them to be punctual for work, to take care of their jobs, to be compliant with the regulations, to learn them and know them, to be calm and polite and conduct themselves in a professional way. Moreover, The session was described as an important one in which the rules and regulations which govern the civil service are passed on to them, the civil servants. The Christoph Haber Foundation has reaffirmed its commitment to St. Kitts and Nevis' youth. This, as the foundation donated $18,900 to the newly launched Junior Achievers St. Kitts Nevis Group, which will see over 1,000 students benefiting from the funding support. During a handing over ceremony on Friday, September 21st, Foundation representative Clyde Tekayama stated while presenting the check, "The Foundation is the Federation's largest supporter of youth literacy and development. It remains committed to the long-term support of youth programs and initiatives in the Federation. The funds will support Junior Achievers St. Kitts and Nevis after schools program on both islands. The Foundation has donated more than $2 million EC to charitable causes and organizations throughout the Federation since its inception. So far for this year, the Foundation's financial support to the Federation's youth has been over EC $151,000. Lorraine Bartlett of Coal Hill, here on Nevis, who was charged for possession of a firearm and possession of ammunition, was granted bail in the sum of $80,000 with the following conditions. He is to surrender all travel documents to the Registrar of the High Court. He is to visit the Gingerland Police Station 3 times per week between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And he is to be placed under curfew between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. at his place of residence. Jervis Liebert of Pun Hill, who was charged for possession of a firearm and possession of ammunition, was granted bail in the sum of $80,000 with the following conditions. He is to surrender all travel documents to the Registrar of the High Court. He is to visit the Gingerland Police Station 3 times per week between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and he is to be placed under curfew between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. at his place of residence. A stop and search exercise on August 17, 2018 at the quarry at New River, Nevis, resulted in the discovery of one 40mm pistol with several matching rounds of ammunition. The firearm was found in motor lorry PB 1053, which the two men occupied at the time, and brought the number of firearms taken into police custody for the year to 21. And finally, a man who was charged with manslaughter and was sentenced to life in prison has appealed against his sentence upheld by the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal. Dinsey Ryan of Old Road, St. Kitts, had his sentence reduced to 25 years by the Justices of Appeal. Ryan has already served 17 years, which is equivalent to a 25-year sentence. He was therefore ordered discharged. Ryan was found guilty of shooting his girlfriend. That's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on our social media page on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
Home. It means something different to everyone. It's a place you love, a place as unique as you are, a place where you can be yourselves, a place for life's big surprises, and not to mention the small ones. Moments to cherish and moments that last a lifetime. It's a place for nurture and a place where you can grow together. It's home. So whether you're building, purchasing, or renovating, the Bank of Nevis is here to open the door, giving you the confidence to dream and the help you need to get there with a mortgage loan from the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Welcome back to another regional news in detail. Out of Jamaica. A state of emergency has been declared in parts of Jamaica's capital, with Prime Minister Andrew Holness saying the increased criminal activities in the communities are now over and above the capacity of existing law enforcement. He said the enhanced security measure in sections of Kingston Central, Kingston Western, and St. Andrews South police divisions will initially last for 17 days. Holness said the government sees it necessary to use the extraordinary powers within the state of public emergency to address long-standing and entrenched crime and public order issues in some of the communities within the police divisions. Holness emphasized that criminal activities have curtailed businesses, undermined the rule of law, and have deprived citizens of the general right to live peacefully. The Prime Minister indicated that careful planning went into the security measure, taking into account traffic flows, students attending school, and business operations, while pointing out that the areas affected will get increased support from the security forces. Out of Guyana. President David Granger has announced that Guyana will soon sign a framework of agreement for economic cooperation with Barbados. The announcement came 24 hours after a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) was signed between Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago for energy cooperation. The President, speaking at the opening of the inaugural Guyana Trade and Investment Exhibition, GuyTime, indicated that the decision was taken following attendance at the 9th meeting of the Prime Ministerial Subcommittee of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, in Barbados earlier this month. The combined land space of the countries of the Caribbean community is almost equivalent to that of Sweden. Granger pointed out that this has the potential for increased intra-regional trade. Intra-regional exports at the end of 2014 stood at a 13.1% of total regional exports of $22.3 billion, he noted. The region's estimated $4.5 billion annual food import bill could be slashed, he said. Out of St. Lucia. Commissioner of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, RSLPF, Severin Monshari, has indicated that, while he has not been asked to go on early retirement, has nevertheless been examining his options, including looking at early retirement, and not ruled out the possibility of proceedings on leave to pursue personal development coinciding with his 53rd birthday in June 2019. Meanwhile, the latest posting on the Justice for Roger campaign blog, which was set up to seek justice for Roger Pratt, a British tourist who was murdered in St. Lucia almost 5 years ago, described the island as a gangster's paradise and asked if tourists should boycott St. Lucia. While Monshari's post-retirement leave and subsequent retirement will have to be approved by cabinet, there is apparently no resistance to this possibility. Retirement age is 55, and normally, post-retirement leave is usually factored in ahead of retirement. Deputy Police Commissioner Milton Deser is said to be earmarked as a possible replacement to the post of Commissioner. And finally, out of St. Martin. 2 men with their faces covered and using a canister containing pepper spray robbed the Bedazzled Jeweler store on Front Street and sprayed an employee standing closest to the door in her face at 11:15 a.m. on Saturday. The police's special robbery unit is investigating the robbery. According to police, one of the suspects jumped out of the display counter and took several trays of jewelry, several boxes of diamonds, and several gold necklaces. After committing the act, the suspects fled on foot towards Back Street. A police bike patrol was immediately sent to the scene to investigate what was taking place. On their arrival, the suspects had already left the area. On the way to the scene, the patrol encountered pieces of jewelry on the street leading from the jewelry store. Those items were all confiscated for further investigation, according to police on Monday. That's it for regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. U.S. President Donald Trump has attacked the Iranian leadership, accusing it of sowing chaos, death, and destruction across the Middle East. Addressing the United Nations General Assembly in New York, he defended his decision to abandon the nuclear deal. Mr. Trump also boasted that his administration had accomplished more than almost any other in U.S. history. His words were greeted with laughter, but he laughed back, saying, "Didn't expect that reaction." On Iran, Mr. Trump said its leaders had plundered the wealth of their nation and called Tehran a sponsor of terrorism abroad. Sweden's center-left Prime Minister Stefan Löfven will have to stand down after losing the support of Parliament. The anti-immigration Sweden Democrats, SD, backed the vote to remove him weeks after a general election that delivered a hung parliament. Mr. Löfven was opposed by 204 MPs, with 142 voting in favor. The parliamentary speaker will now propose a new prime minister, with centre-right leader Ulf Kristersson seen as the most likely candidate. Mr. Löfven is expected to stay on a caretaker prime minister while his replacement is decided, in a process that could take weeks. The World Health Organization, WHO, says it's facing grave obstacles in the effort to contain an outbreak of Ebola in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The area has seen 2 deadly attacks by Islamists in recent days, including in the town of Benin, where people have protested in the streets, have announced a week-long strike. More in this report.
Health workers in Beni are being told to avoid non-essential travel until at least Friday due to possible civil unrest. As a result, the health ministry has put a halt to some of the Ebola response. Patients in hospitals are being treated, but all monitoring activities in the community have been suspended. This includes following up on people who are deemed at risk because they've been in contact with Ebola patients.
And finally, U.S. fashion giant Michael Kors has confirmed a $2.1 billion takeover of Versace in a move that has outraged some fans of the Italian fashion house. Creative director Donatella Versace has run Versace since the 1997 murder of her brother Giovanni. She called the sale a very exciting moment and said it would allow Versace to reach its full potential. Theo Lagarde reports.
This deal will give Michael Kors control of one of the most famous names in luxury fashion, a brand regularly worn by celebrities such as Angelina Jolie and Cindy Crawford. Its decision to buy Versace comes just a year after it took control of another high-end brand, the shoes and handbags maker Jimmy Choo. The deal's expected to help the group, which will be renamed Capri Holdings, to become a serious competitor to industry giants such as Richemont and LVMH. Donatella Versace has been the outspoken public face of the Italian company since the death of her brother Gianni 2 decades ago.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
TDC Home and Building Depots are celebrating 15 years of service. And to thank you, our valued customers, we're giving a 15% discount in-store from the 24th to the 29th of September. The celebrations get even better. For items already marked down, we're taking 15% off those products too. Come celebrate with us while you save and shop at the TDC Home and Building Depots, the place where you always come first. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back on Other Sports in Detail. In football, revenues made by Manchester United have hit a record as the football club earned more money from TV rights. The club reported revenues of £590 million in the year to the end of June, up 1.5% on the prior year, and forecast they could top £600 million next time. TV revenue rose 5.2% to £204 million after the club finished second in Premier League last season against sixth before. But there was a big revenue fall in the final quarter due to United's poor showing in a key European competition. Revenue for the 3 months to 30th June fell 16% to £147.6 million as United failed to make it through to the quarterfinals of the lucrative UEFA Champions League. With the New York-listed club back in the competition this year, United is predicting that revenues will be between £615 million to £630 million in the current financial year. More in football. Brazilian striker Marta Vieira da Silva has done something that's even eluded the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. She's been rated top of a game in the football world for the 6th time after winning Best Female at the Best FIFA Football Awards on Monday. At 32 years, the prize seems to suggest her career is showing no signs of slowing. And as some of those involved in the sport have been telling Newsbeat, she's more of an inspiration than ever. Marta, who plays for Orlando Pride in the US, previously won the award in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and 2010. And finally, in tennis, Andy Murray reached the second round of the Shenzhen Open after China's Zhang Qingzhen retired. Former world number 1 Murray led 6-3, 6-7, 3-7, 4-2 when Zhang, a wild card at the event in China, ended the match. The Briton, now ranked 311th as he continues his comeback from hip injury, saved 8 break points as he was given a stern test by the world number 314. He will face Belgian top seed and world number 11 David Goffin next. Murray, a wild card in Shenzhen, is appearing in his penultimate event of the year after deciding to end his season early. He has played just 10 matches this year after returning to the ATP Tour in June. That's it for sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 40% of moderate chance of showers. Winds are east at 19 to 28 kilometers per hour or 10 to 15 knots. Seas are moderate with swells of 1.8 meters or 6 feet. A caution remains in effect for sea bathers. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:01 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the Media News package for today, Tuesday, 25th September 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, man shot and killed in Shadwell, murder number 23. And ICT Week of activities taking place here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Regionally, a new state of emergency declared in Jamaica, this time in parts of the capital. Internationally, Iran's sowing chaos, death, destruction, says U.S. President. And in sports, Manchester United revenues hit record of £590 million. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashon Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.